Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. This is 5x5 and I'm Simo. If you're new to the channel, you can support the channel by clicking the subscribe button. We're back to talk Star Trek Picard again. This video is going to be another recap and review video. So if you haven't seen this week's episode, make sure to watch the episode and then come back and watch this video first, because it will be spoiler heavy and I don't want to ruin it for you. Now let's get into it. So this was another solid episode. So we've now had 2 strong episodes in a row. And now while I say it's solid, I'm still having a lot of the same feeling that I had the last episode. So I'm entertained and I'm liking it. I'm still not having the real investment in the show that I really had hoped that I would find. I'm not really into the overarching plot that's so far being developed. Like, if it turns out that the Soji and Dash twins are some sort of prophesied destroyers by an ancient Romulan religion, and the Tal Shiar is out to destroy them to prevent the Romulan apocalypse, I'm not sure I'm really into that as a storyline. I guess it's interesting, but I'm just not sure that it's what I'm looking for anyhow. It just feels like a very kind of gimmicky episode. It feels very like a cartoonish story instead of a really like morally or ethically driven premise the way most Next Generation storylines would have been. So I am still having problems with the show, or I am still having the same problems with the show as I was having last episode. But now that said, not everyone's going to think as deeply into this as I am. So you might have no problems with what you've seen so far. If that's the case, I'm totally glad that that's the case. So let's get into the actual layers of the episode now. The episode opens with Soji having recurring nightmares about her origin. She sees herself as a small child in her father's work office, and she still doesn't realize that she's synthetic. She doesn't know if it's just a dream or if it's a memory of some kind. She's not aware at all. So because she's been sleeping with that Romulan duo, well, one half of the duo, Narek, he's aware of the nightmares she's been having. So they're talking about the nature of those nightmares. It's entirely self-serving, of course, because he's a Tal Shiar spy and he really just wants to pump her for information. Let's just forget I said that. He's trying to get information out of her. It's entirely to exploit her. The Tal Shiar wants information from her. Comes out later in conversation, but they believe that she's aware of some sort of homeworld for the synthetics, which is an interesting idea because that hasn't been floated before. I mean, as far as we always knew, synthetics were, at least Dr. Sung's synthetics, the creator of Commander Data, the original android, they were pretty much one of a kind, right? So the idea of synthetics all of a sudden having an entire race and a homeworld is pretty, that's actually an interesting idea. So depending on how that goes, this could get really interesting really fast. But the actual buildup with the whole Tal Shiar thing, it's leaving me wanting a little bit. The siblings are essentially plotting Soji's and all the synths' deaths, right? So that's why they're looking for the homeworld. And they believe that Soji's dreams might be a key to unlocking the location of the homeworld and also preventing her from going into some sort of emergency attack mode. So they're trying to get the information from her subconscious without her basically murdering them. It makes sense, but it just seems like a very convenient plot device. It's another aspect of the story that I'm not really enjoying. It just seems all very like formulaic at this point, which is fine, but we'll see how it goes. Meanwhile, Dr. Jurati Agnes she's a wreck after killing Bruce Maddox. She's clearly troubled by what she did and the information that she has about this whole overarching Romulan Federation Starfleet conspiracy, and it's weighing on her. She's doing stress-related activities, so she hooks up with Rios because a lot of people actually do hook up when they're stressed out. In this case, it feels like an unnecessary event. Like they just wanted to inject a little bit of sexiness into the episode and into the show, and it just feels forced. And they don't have any chemistry on screen either. It seemed really unnecessary, and yeah, whatever. I'm not a fan of this particular development. So we'll leave that at that. In terms of Picard is off in his holographic quarters, and he's pretty stressed out also. He's experiencing some real PTSD and anxiety about the idea of going back to a Borg cube, because remember, he was assimilated at one point and was a Borg. He's really not looking forward to this. This is the first time he's had to go back to this experience, whereas in First Contact it was kind of brought on him, right? So he's reliving it in a lot of ways. The crew heads to the cube artifact. They're there to find Soji. It's a little bit of a quest for them. So Raffi has to get them some diplomatic credentials to enter the facility without any trouble and smooth that over with the Romulan services. I don't know. It's a little unclear exactly how organized the Romulan structure is in this time now, because we see so many Romulan refugees, but now we also see them having a very organized science structure. Not really entirely sure what's going on in that sense. I probably have to look around on the internet to see if anybody else has a better understanding of it than I do, but that's where we're at right now. So Picard travels to the cube alone. He's the only one that has the diplomatic credentials. Of course, because of the anxiety and PTSD he's been experiencing, he's really disoriented and he's overwhelmed by the trauma. He's reliving it in the moment. Luckily, he runs into Hugh, and Hugh ends up having a short reunion moment with him, which is actually really sweet, and it comes off very well. It's a very sort of nostalgic scene. It helps smooth over the narrative holes in the entire quest at this point. So Hugh ends up giving him a full tour of the cube. Well, not the whole cube, but he starts to give him a tour. Picard lets Hugh know that he's looking for Soji, and Hugh, of course, in return lets him know, oh yeah, she's the one that's in danger. That really, he said something to the effect of, well, I sort of suspected she was in danger because, well, you're here, and about a week after she arrived, a handsome Romulan spy started trying to fake not asking questions about her or something along those lines. It was kind of funny. So it was a cute moment, but Hugh is clearly aware of Soji's importance. So Hugh's on the right page right from the beginning. And in the tour, he, of course, shows Picard the recovery process of the ex-Borgs. So it helps Picard go through the experience that he's trying to fight with. He sees now that some real good work is being done and people are able to be recovered from the assimilation process in a way that he didn't believe was possible. And he commends Hugh for doing good work. And then they realize that Soji had called in sick, so they have to go find her on the cube. Meanwhile, Soji has already been working with Narek to recover her memories in a different part of the cube. They're doing some sort of Romulan meditation technique. The process ends up allowing Soji to recover enough of her memory to give Narek the information he needs. They're looking for a planet that has a lot of electrical storms and 2 red moons. So that's enough for him to cut her loose and say, hey, it's been great, you're not real, and try and kill her, and then run off with his sister to try and find the homeworld. Of course, Soji escapes the room that he locks her in, and during her escape, she runs into Picard. Picard offers to help her, and she has no choice because Romulans are now closing in from all directions, and Hugh helps them escape through the Borg Queen's emergency escape teleport portal. That was a little bit convenient, but whatever. So Picard and Soji do get to escape, and they'll presumably catch up with the rest of the crew of the La Sirena in the next episode that should air in a day or two. So that wraps up the episode. Again, I really did like the episode. It was fun. I still feel like I'm missing something though. I feel like it's a really sort of formulaic adventure at this point without a lot of the substance that I was really hoping for. It's not enough for me to give up on the show, but it's enough for me to see an opportunity for improvement. And it's still a new show, and most shows don't catch their stride until after a few episodes in. I usually give a new show about 6 episodes before I walk away from it. Almost every show that I've ever enjoyed has really found its footing after those 6 episodes, and usually into like the 2nd season and even the 3rd season. It goes from good to being amazing at that point. I'm going to keep up with Picard, and I'll keep making videos as long as they're interesting. So on that note, we'll wrap this video up again. Thank everyone for watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click like and subscribe. Click the bell icon for notifications so you get a notification when there is a new video available to you. And as always, let me know what you think of this video and the episode in the comments section below. And thanks everyone for watching as usual. See everyone soon. Take care.